and it's a flagship program, Youth Questions. And ED Times is our online media partner. Ekja Foundation is our implementation partner, and IICSR, from their front, we are asking everything related to SDGs and sustainable development and social welfare development of the political leaders. So yeah, towards the end of the show, we would request if everyone would switch on their cameras so that we can have a group picture, since we all can't meet each other. So this is the best way to have group pictures. And during the session, I may request everyone to switch off their cameras, and when the questions would be asked, they can always switch it on and ask the questions. How are you doing, Mr. Rola?
Hi, I'm doing good. Nice to see you and hear you.
I'm glad you could join us, and I hope it will be of use, because I believe you worked in many locations in Bandra also.
Yes, yes.
There has been a lot of work of Nargis Dutt Foundation from their side.
Nargis Dutt Foundation has been actively in schools also, if I remember right, slum schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are. This is a weekly show. Every Sunday we will be bringing either a MLA or a MP or a sitting minister who could connect with the youth of today.
Where do you get all this energy and time from? Huh? You baffle me a lot. Very, very interesting. The way you evolved over the last 10 years since I've known you.
I appreciate you, sir. It's I get all the guidance and inspiration from all the people around me. So,
Maybe a support, but you're doing it all the way yourself.
No, I have some wonderful teammates like Anura, Ali, and many of them who joined us, Sridhar. So you should also check out our app, Digital Parliament.
I would.
Okay, now we would begin, sir. So I believe ma'am is around now. So we will begin.
Okay, all the best.
Sorry, she got lapsed. Hello? Hello? Hi.
Hi. I can't hear you.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Hi. Very well. Sorry, I got a little delayed. I was a little bit of a network problem.
No problem. So we have people from all over India right now with us, from North India, Delhi, to South India, Bangalore. And the audience is comprised from students to senior professionals to veteran CSR leaders who have worked in your area, and they are all your fans.
Right. So, thank you so much for being here, and thank you very much.
It's wonderful to have you with us. So Youth Questions is a flagship program of Digital Parliament, which we gave you a demo, and ma'am was kind enough to look at our app and give us the feedback that this is the best mode to connect the masses with the elected leaders and take their feedback and take things forward. So this is one of our initiative which we are introducing to bridge that gap between the youth and the political leaders. So the format of the show would be, I would be asking you a few questions about about your walk of life and your challenges and how you evolved. And then we could be opening it up for the others to ask their set of questions. In the interim, if you want to show us any movie or any presentation, feel free.
Fine. I think I don't have a movie or a presentation right now, but I'm very happy to take questions and really speak about various aspects of my life and my work.
So you graduated from New York School of Media and now you're a politician. So how has the change been in every phase of your life?
Yeah, so it's been a very, very long journey and something which, and a very unplanned journey actually. You know, usually people at a very young age plan their lives much ahead of time as to what they want to do and what they want to achieve, set goals for themselves, which I did as well. But it really didn't go according to plan, you know, and therefore my life kind of seesawed a lot. And so I studied television production at a time when television was at a very nascent stage in our country. And I really was focused on making documentary films, which again had no takers at the time. And documentary films was something which was, you know, nobody wanted to fund, and you know, it was just not something which was viable at that time. And but I think you know, I was a kind of a person who really went with what I believed in, and didn't want to compromise on that too much. And so when I came back from the US, I had made a film, a document with Division of India, which was a biography on my mother. And that was the I wanted to do that because I think it was a great way of understanding who she really was. I lost my mother when I was about 13 years old, and knew her as a mom, but never really knew her as the woman she was. And this film really gave me that opportunity to explore her life and understand her as a human being. So it was, in a way, uh, extremely therapeutic for me at the time. And after that, I did a short. I was working on a project for a documentary film called Hasina, which was on child prostitution. So a lot of work went into that. I mean, I was, you know, working in Kamatipura for a very long time, talking to all the women working there and about their lives and things like that. And uh, everything was ready, everything was done, but I never got funding for it at, at the time, you know. So it was, so there are a lot of ups and downs in that field. And I realized, you know, I don't know if I'll ever be able to be part of this rat race, you know, where I have to compromise on everything and things like that. And I started working on the social field. And basically, I was always inclined to the social field, even in films, was to tell a story about what is happening out there in the world, you know, and socially creating awareness through film. So I started working on ground level rather than in movies, you know, making movies for it. And that's how I got into the, you know, making and working in the social field. Helped my father a lot in his work, but never was inclined towards politics at all. So politics came as something like a thunderbolt into my life. And you know, I was married then, and I was 4 months pregnant at the time. So again, uh, no plans for politics at all, because I wanted to concentrate on having a family and you know, and things like that. I wanted a very different kind of life for myself. And unfortunately, at that time, I lost my father, who was in politics for 25 years. And the whole burden of the whole his political legacy suddenly came onto me, you know, without me asking for it, really. And people had seen me work with him and you know, be part of his campaigns a lot. You know, it could have been the Padyatra, which we did from here to Amritsar and to Japan. So I was always part of his life in many ways. So people kind of related with me at that time. And that's how my journey into politics began.
Excellent. Your tenure as an MP coincides with a lot of challenges faced by your family also at that time. How difficult was it to handle the public perception, considering politics is all about perception also? So, how difficult was it?
So we've actually gone through a huge ups and downs. As I told you, my father was in politics for 25 years, and I think he went through a lot of ups and downs in his life. being a politician, being a public figure, and we were all part of that. So this was not something new to me, and I knew what being a public figure entailed. What you had to kind of face, and what you had to, what was expected out of you. So I think I managed well, and I think it was very important that whatever ups and downs you go through, you you kind of face it with that kind of dignity, knowing that this too shall pass, and things will be better again.
So, since 2005 to 2014, you were an active MP, member of
Yes.
and there are very few women who get that opportunity to be. So,
Yes.
what was your learning and what was the journey like during that tenure of being a member of parliament? You saw your mother going to Rajya Sabha as a.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
journey?
It was a huge learning, actually. Like for someone like me, now I see a lot of youngsters who are so politically savvy, who are so focused on what they would want to be, in their lives, as either get into politics, or politically very active, and things like that. During my time, it was very different. We were kind of very cut off and isolated from the political world, so to speak. My father never brought his work home either. So when I first came into parliament, I was you know kind of, it was like a student going into a new college. I was completely new there. I didn't know anyone over there, and it was quite something, because you have to face everything on your own. You're alone out there. uh, Obviously there was no mentor, or there was not somebody who could guide me or anything. I had to learn on the job. But I must say that every person in parliament, I think it was because of my father's goodwill, were extremely welcoming and extremely warm. And I'm saying this of both sides, and I'm talking about the opposition as well as the people, the party in power. They both were very, very welcoming. So I got comfortable very easily, and of course then that's when the learning started. The processes, the procedures, and things like that. And it was very, very interesting. And politics also gave me a platform to really, a large platform where I could address issues. I could work for people on a larger platform. Um, so I used this platform to really to do the good work I was already doing in the social field, but in a larger scale. And it became very, very exciting for me, because I was working in my constituency, and I was working. Uh, that's the part I really loved, because I was always inclined to do that hands-on, working in my constituency, working with the people, addressing issues of the people. And I was very surprised to see that there were such issues of basic issues: water, gutter, nala. Uh, People didn't understand the difference between a member of parliament, a corporator, or an MLA. And people came to me for the smallest of issues. It could be a problem in their society, it could be a problem in where their toilets were concerned. But I saw to it that I addressed every issue, because I think they came to me with good faith. They came to me because they trusted me. And I tried to kind of, used to educate them and say that, you assign this work to your corporator. Whenever you have a problem, go to your corporate. So it became a great network. And so my work there was very exciting. It was very fulfilling. And I focused always on two very important things, was health and education, which I felt lacked tremendously in our country, and it still does. And it still does a great, needs a huge push. So I'm still working on that direction through my Research Foundation as well, as of now.
So health and education are the primary focus of Nargis Dutt Foundation. What are the location of operations, and have you been executing any PPP model, like public-private partnership model? Any corporates who have come forward and supported in any way?
See, I'll be honest with you. We are nearly a 40-year-old organization. Started off in 1981, and when my mom passed away, and we have a very transparent working pattern. Initially, it was set up in the US, where my father used to raise funds in the US, but funds never came to India. So we never actually had an FCRA account. We always felt that we don't need it because we don't want to get those funds here. We want the funds to go where the projects are. And we used to shortlist projects. So we actually equipped nearly about 100 rural hospitals with cancer care equipment through the funding which we got and we used to raise in the US. We set up Nargis Dutt Foundation actively around 15, 20 years ago so that we started raising funds here as well for projects in and around India. So we are not focused only in Mumbai. We work all over India. So we work with health and education all over India. Primary focus in health is cancer, early cancer detection and cancer treatment. So that is our primary focus where health is concerned. And with education, we started a project about 5 years ago with rural schools. And I realized once I lost my election, actually, I realized, I need to kind of get away from my constituency. I was so boxed in when I was member of parliament because I couldn't go beyond the constituency which I was assigned. And I wanted to kind of reach out beyond that. And when I lost my election, I said, what, let's look at something, let's look at projects beyond this. And we got a project in Palghar district, which is about 120 kilometers from Mumbai, in a village there, tribal belt. And when I went and visited that place, I realized there is huge potential to work. And so close to Mumbai, and yet it's so cut off, without anything. So we said started working there with the village and focused on the village school. So we did a pilot project there where we developed the entire school with what a child should need, the basic facility a child should have in any school all over India. So that was the pilot which we created, where there were the clean drinking water, toilets for children, playrooms for the kids, small playground for the kids. We set up an e-learning center there. We gave them computer education there, a small music room, to create a holistic approach for a learning of a child. It was amazing to see the results in a very short period of time. And, we presented this to the local authorities as well, saying that it's not too much money. And if we can replicate this in the schools, this will be great, because many schools, if you see in the rural areas, kids go there, attend school, they are marked as attended, but there is no learning happening, and that is going to be very detrimental for our future, because these are the children who are going to be the future of our country. And it's very, very important that there be a direction, there be a learning which we are imparting to them, so they become productive youngsters in this country. So these are various issues which we started working on, and now we've got about 3 schools which we have done and handed over. And we are monitoring and really documenting the results, and it's quite amazing to see how it has grown, and very impressive. So that's what we do right now.
And any public-private partnership that you have formulated over the course of time?
So we've done a couple of things with CSR. A couple of things. We've worked with the Mahanagar Gas, who donated us a mobile clinic, a vehicle, which we turned into a mobile clinic which goes around the slum areas with basic doctor, nurse, and medication for everyday needs. Next, we are looking at setting up, which we've already in the process of, and hopefully after lockdown this will start, is a cancer care, early detection cancer care bus, which will go all around the areas, even in the rural Maharashtra areas and stuff like that, for early cancer detection. And that is something which we haven't really gone into a partnership with yet, but we are looking for partners in that. We have actually already invested in the van and the equipment which goes into the van for the detection camps. And of course, running costs, we'll have to take it further from there. So that's where we are looking at, sponsorships or PPP model or CSR.
So how do you see that the youth who are present over here, how can they be of support to your initiatives and to Nargis Dutt Foundation?
So the youth has a very, very important part to play, not just for Nargis Dutt Foundation or just for what my initiatives are, but I'm just talking in general. I think they have a huge part to play. And I'm so happy to see that today the youth is so much more focused. They are more aware. They are sensitized to various issues. It could be health, education, animals, you know, human rights, so many issues which I've seen involved in. And I think they play a very, very important role that is. Now, organizations like ours, see, ours is not a very large organization. We are a very small and close-knit organization. But I have to say that we are I feel very proud to say that people who donate to us trust our work. And they know that whatever they donate to us goes directly to the cause, to whatever projects there are. So it is 90% of the funds which come into Nargis Dutt Foundation go towards a cause. It could be health, education, women empowerment, or whatever project the person is donating for. So there is complete transparency. I always say that Nargis Dutt Foundation doesn't belong to me or my family. Yes, my mother's name is there, but I am just in between. You know, I am the connect between the donor and the recipient. I ensure that whatever the person donates goes to the right place. And I think that's why we've survived nearly 40 years, and we have spread our work all through India. So I think it's very important for youngsters to look at things out of the box. You know, not everything that is that's there on social media or on television or things like that. I think experience gives you the most amount of education, more than anything. If I don't go out there and work, I would really not know what the problems are, what the issues are, what the difficulties are. You know, I may read about it all I want, but till I don't experience it, I will never know. So we've involved a lot of schools and youngsters from schools in the ninth and from the ninth onwards, 11th, 12th, who came. I went to their schools and gave them a presentation of the work we do. But I told them, listen, till the time you guys don't experience it, I wouldn't even want you to be part of it. So I took them to the village school where they interacted with the kids there. They understood their problems, they understood their needs, and they came up with a project as to what they wanted to do in that school. So I think that in itself is very, very important. Is your hands-on experience, which will really give you that impetus to work.
So having worked in politics and having worked in the social welfare area, do you see yourself again contesting the elections in the coming times? And how do you see that even the young leaders over here or youth like us, considering there is nepotism in Bollywood as well as in politics?
Whereas, this whole debate about nepotism, I think it's like kind of going a bit crazy because there's nepotism everywhere.
Yeah.
How can you, it's not just Bollywood and politics, it's everywhere. A doctor's kid wants to become a doctor, or a lawyer's child wants to become a lawyer, farmer's son wants to become a farmer. So you usually follow what your parents do because you've experienced it with them, right? So I don't believe in this whole nepotism. Yes, you may get a break, but then you have to prove yourself to really be there. And I'll be honest with you, I got an opportunity into politics very easily was because of my father, right? Otherwise, I would never have gone into politics. My father's presence in politics, yeah, gave me, I mean, I got a ticket easily, I fought an election, but people don't give you a chance over and over again till the time you don't prove yourself. So yes, I may have been Sunil Dutt's daughter, superb that I'm Sunil Dutt's daughter. People still compare me with my father, that, oh, Sunil Dutt had done that, you should have done this, like him. I think the people don't realize that when you are someone's daughter, famous person's daughter or son, or your father is a big doctor and you want to be a doctor, there will always be a comparison between your work and his work or her work. You have to stand on your own and be your own individual. You have to say that this is the way, this is Priya Dutt, proud to be Sunil Dutt's daughter, but I'm not Sunil Dutt. I'm Priya Dutt. And this is the way I work. This is my legacy. And this is my path, which I have created on my own. So I think it's a difficult task. It's a lot of work, and you will constantly struggle with that. Because I always see, for me, I've always said that my father has always been my hero. He's been my role model. And I've learned whatever I have through him. But I have to pave my own path. Right?
Yeah.
I can't keep on saying that my father did it this way, so I have to do it this way.
Yeah.
No, I have to pave my own path. And that is what legacy I will leave for my kids, right? So I think it's very important you have to forget about nepotism. And I think we cannot dwell on that, oh, only if my so and so is something, only then I can get into politics. Or it's every profession is very difficult to get into. You either have to be excellent in something to reach that level, or you have to start from ground level and then slowly build your way up, right? So the same way with politics, you have to start ground level. Many kids come to me and say, "How, ma'am, I want to join politics. How do I do it?" I said, start work in your own area. Build your base in your own area. Work in your neighborhood. You have to start building like that. Nothing comes easy and nothing comes fast to anyone. There is hard work for everyone, and not necessarily everybody reaches that great height. We all have the desire to do that, but not necessarily that we all reach that point. That doesn't mean that you give up. If I had to give up when I didn't do my films, I wanted to be a filmmaker, right? I started off wanting to be a filmmaker. I was not successful in that.
Yeah.
So failure should not frighten you. It is through failure that you learn. You learn to get up and move again. I think if there was no failure, how would you be strong enough to face another day? So failure does not scare me. Because I know that there will be something else. I lost my election twice, right? But I didn't give up. That doesn't mean I'm going to sit at home and start moping because I'm not a member of parliament anymore. I have to create my own niche somewhere else. And I know what my passion is, and I follow that.
So will we be seeing you campaigning again in the upcoming elections?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't plan too far ahead really, and so I don't know where life takes me next.
Okay. So in the digital era that we all have entered in thanks to COVID-19, do you see that tools like digital parliament or other tools would play a key role? And if so, what are the features that you would think that they should have in them? So it would be more useful for the leaders and to connect with everyone. What are the features that you would foresee?
See, today, like we are talking right now, yeah, because of the lockdown, I think this is going to be something which is going to be the new normal, as they say, where your communication will be very easy with a large group of people online. And I think for people in politics, especially in urban and areas and smaller towns, this would become a much easy way to communicate and have where their constituents understand issues, problems. What happens, and when I was also member of parliament, I encouraged people to send me emails. At that time, we had a website. Please send me emails with your issues, because I know, as a complete urban constituency, people are working people. They cannot go and sit in a member of parliament's office from morning to night to try and get one work done. So we used to actually address issues by people sending us emails. And then my office used to connect with them, connect with the concerned officers, and and if I had to meet them, I would call them to the office. So I think we have to also see the convenience of the people out there, the citizens out there. As member of parliaments or politicians, we are here to serve the people. People are not here to serve us. That is something which we must make very clear. We have a job to do. Unfortunately, it becomes another other way around, where especially in smaller towns, or even people living in the slums and everything, look at a member of parliament or an MLA or a corporator as your my bap, not realizing what their own rights are. And I have been elected by them because they expect something out of me. They have assigned me this duty, this job which I have to do, and I have to take that job seriously and do what I can to address these issues. Now, it could be through digital way, it could be through public meetings, it could be through whatever. But today, I feel things will change tremendously, because that whole time of having these large public meetings and getting a crowd of 1 lakh people or 20,000 people where you're giving speeches and stuff like that, I think is all going to be something which is not going to happen for a very long time. And if you want to address a larger population, you will have to use a digital medium to do it.
And what are the exact features do you see that we should have in order to support these happenings?
The features, are you talking specifically for political representatives, or?
Generally, what features that you think that if we have those features would really help all the leaders or for the connecting purposes?
So I feel if you're looking at leaders trying to connect with their constituents, I think it should be a database in place, number one. It should be categorized in the right manner, right? Area wise, taluka wise, ward wise, and everything. So that if you're addressing a ward, correct, and the issues of a ward, you could even have meetings for that ward online, where people can come and say that, listen, so you assign different days to different wards. In, say, my constituency, you'd assign different days to different wards, so the people there know that, okay, on so and so day I can speak to my member of parliament. I log in from 4 to 6 is the time. We log in, we ask questions, put in our things to our member of parliament. So if that happens, it becomes wonderful, because you're actually reaching out to your constituents directly, face to face. You are listening to them, you're understanding them, and they are listening to you. But it has to be like a micro planning. You have to go down to the ward level, and only then I think it will be effective.
Excellent input. Again, thank you for that. And at this note, I'd open it to all our listeners. Please feel free to come forth and ask your questions. I'm sure you all will be having a lot of them now. Yes, Mr. Rola.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Priya.
Good
If I
afternoon,
can
sir.
call you.
Of
So,
course. Yes,
I've
of course.
grown up seeing Nargis Dutt's films,
Right.
such lovely films.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I wanted to quickly share with the thought on
Ji.
privatization, or at least handing over the BMC schools to
Yes.
the private NGOs like
Yes.
Akanksha and
Yes.
Seema. They've done such great work. I
Yes.
worked hands-on with all these schools. I
Right.
personally revived the government technical high schools myself, which were
Wonderful.
running without students, and brought back students.
Correct.
So I think there's a move even within Shiv Sena.
Yes, sir.
Enough is enough. No
Yeah.
need of just Marathi. We can make them
Yeah.
English medium.
Yeah.
All that has been talked 2017, even by Shiv
Yeah.
Sena. So can someone like you really push this agenda?
Yeah.
Because on one side, my own driver is not willing to send his child over there,
Yeah.
thinking that's paying some 28,000 which he borrows from people,
Yes.
and send them to small, very ill-equipped private schools, and they think that is still good.
Correct. So I agree 100%, and I've been fighting for this for a very long time, and especially English medium schools. Because I see this every day, where they don't want to send them to BMC schools because, like I said, there is hardly any learning happening there. Teachers are not there. Nothing happens. So we had spoken, in fact, to even private schools who could adopt BMC schools and impart the same education there instead of RTE, which is not working well.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to tell you that Shiv Sena now is looking at it very seriously and have started a couple of schools and transformed it into model schools. So I think they're looking at really replicating that model all over. So I think
They
it's
have
going to
very
happen.
large grounds.
Yeah, and they've got lovely buildings.
Yes.
And huge buildings. So they've done one in the Band area. I don't know if you know the Santa Cruz Band school.
I know.
Yeah, so they have developed it into like a model school. I think one at Burli as well.
Again, run by them or given to private NGOs?
No, done by, I think they have done a PPP model in one, and one they've done by themselves. But I think they're looking at various options to really upgrade the schools now.
Like the ITIs of India.
Wonderful. Yes.
Under the PPP program, ITIs of India have really been revived.
Yes, exactly.
I think all the 1,200 schools of BMC should be put under PPP and let CSRs and NGOs take over.
Yeah.
While there is a control from BMC for their own success.
Definitely. And I think most important is the sustainability is the factor here.
That's it. Yeah.
And usually, see, government aided schools, BMC only the government gives them the salaries for the teachers and nothing else.
Correct.
So that becomes very difficult for them to sustain those schools with, upgrade it and stuff like that. So there has to be a sustainable model which really needs to look at it, especially if you're imparting education to kids with hardly any fees.
That's,
that kind of infrastructure has to be created. But that's happening.
We had run the principal education program for the BMC principals.
Yes.
We found some of them such high quality principals within them. And after the training found such great results coming out of them. And the principal is the one who can really make the difference.
Huge difference. I think if the principal is good, we can really make a,
And corporates like us have such a lot of knowledge to part with, especially on manpower management training, SLAs, SOPs, and the likes. So it's high time, I think, a partnership between NGOs, CSR, and BMC will take these schools to the next level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So request you to do all you can.
Yes, I will, definitely. Thank you so much.
Any help you want from us, you can always connect me through Harsha. I'll be there.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Sir has handled the CSR activity of RPG Group and Omkar developers and handling the entire SRA development skills.
Life Trust also.
Right. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. May I request anybody else if there is a question?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Anura. I'm a second year student at Shriram College right now, and So my question is more to do with your experience and your tenure as a politician.
Right.
And being a woman in a very male-dominated structure and a landscape, how do you think, from a very gendered perspective, were your experiences different from that of your male counterparts? And how do you think that, as young girls, how do you think that female participation can be increased in politics?
That's a very good question, and I just want to tell you one thing, that my experience in politics has not, I've never had any bad experience as a woman. Okay, I think it also depends on your own, the way you are in politics. And like I agree with you 100% that there is, the representation of women are very, very minuscule, especially in parliament. Though in the corporation there is 50% reservation here, but you'll be surprised to know that even in that 50% reservation, it's very difficult to find women to fight an election. When you look at even the village panchayats where there is women's reservation, there's most of the time it's either the wives fighting an election or a sister fighting an election. But saying that, it's still better than no woman there. And like I said, I was also very new in politics, not knowing too much, but I learned on the job. And once I learned on the job, became quite independent in my way of functioning. So I used to face a lot of issues, in my life, especially with the senior male members who felt that I knew nothing, and they could kind of really direct me to do what was the right thing and the wrong thing and everything of that sort. So I had to really break away from that struggle, where I had to stand my own ground and say that this is what I'm going to do, right or wrong, it's going to be my problem, and this is the way I function. So like I was telling Harsha earlier, you have to create your own individuality in the area you work in. So people start taking you seriously. The moment you succumb, they know that this is the weakness and this is how that person can be manipulated. And it could happen with a male or a female. But I personally haven't faced that kind of great struggle. Yes, I've had many disagreements with the male members of my party, and where I have stood my ground, and maybe was not always liked by everybody, but that is what I think politics is all about. But I think it's very important as a woman to know what you want, and to really to stand your ground in what you want. You know what I mean? It's like it's very difficult to put it. For me, I felt my biggest strength was I had nothing to lose, so I could take decisions very openly and freely. And the other side always knew that she'll take these decisions. She has nothing to lose, so that becomes your biggest strength in going forward in your life.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
I believe Mr. K.K. Upadhyay has a question. Dr. Upadhyay?
Thank you, Harsha. Priya ji,
I'm
from Delhi. And work with a lot of youth in Delhi. What's happening now with this pandemic, they have a sense of that they will lose their jobs.
Right, yeah.
Working from home, people are not able to really adjust to this new way.
This new way, yes.
Technically, the hours have increased, the load has increased.
Yes.
Go to some of the companies which I know, even the output has increased.
Yeah.
Such a situation where youth is very much undecided where to go, how to go, and what to do.
Yes.
What will be your advice to these people who are struggling with, because they have a sense of they will lose their job?
Yeah.
He keeps on telling unemployment is going
Yes.
how should they, and there's a lot of what you call a mental problems with a lot of people. How do you tackle it?
I agree with you, and I think the mental problems have become very huge. I was talking to a few people. This working from home initially was great for people because they could sit in their homes, enjoy their homes, and work. But it cannot be a long-term thing. We are human beings after all. We thrive on interaction. We thrive within communities, and I don't believe this online working can be stretched to a long-term basis. These are, I think, everything based on relationships, right?
Yes.
Right? Everything is based on relationships. It could be with a boss, and it could be with your colleagues. It could be with everything. So this really becomes a very, there is no connect. So I just want to tell the youth out there that this is a temporary thing. This is a temporary phase. And, countries have gone through this kind of situation. Recessions have happened in various countries. This is a new kind of recession because of the pandemic. But this will pass. There will be new things that will develop. And today you started new businesses, they've started new ventures, they've started new things, kind of really setting, keeping in mind the setting we are in today. Factories with masks, making factories have started, sanitizer factories have started. So everybody is doing their own thing. I think, the youth has to look at positives of everything. If we start looking at that this is the end for us, then how will we look forward to our lives up ahead? How will we face other challenges? And, I think it's very sad to see, and we've been seeing a spate of suicides and mental illnesses and so many things, especially amongst the youth. And it really, really saddens me because, many of these youngsters are alone somewhere in big, large cities who have left their homes and families and are working in big cities. I think that becomes a very big problem. And we don't have those family support anymore. We don't have the community support anymore. And I think somewhere along the line, we have to develop a community reach out program. And I was talking to somebody as to how can we do that. And, in this platform, I think it will be great to get ideas, is that people and youngsters are sitting at home, have millions of friends online, but they really truly don't have a friend. Everybody's got Facebook friends or Instagram friends or whatever you may call it, but do they really have a friend? So I think today is a time is to just give each other the strength.
Yes.
That is all. We need to just reassure and give each other that strength. It has not been easy. I think ours is the only country which has been locked down for more than 3 months. It's not easy. And for a person like me, whom I've always felt has been a very strong person who's faced everything in their lives, ups and downs, has been difficult for me too. It has been difficult. I mean, you get into a lull where you feel like, my God, uncertainty of the future, things like that. And you literally have to get your head back in something, get an activity going or, things like that. So I can understand what must be happening to these youngsters who are alone living here, looking forward to their jobs and things like that, and now not having them.
Yes.
Yeah. So, some sort of a platform where you can open up, let people come in, let people just talk their hearts out, let somebody reassure them, and then listen, we all in it together. And we all will face it together.
Sure.
I think that's really important for them. Thank you.
We have a question from Zahir. Zahir, would you like to come forth and ask your question? Zahir? Okay, his question is, how do you see the future of Mumbai post-pandemic and especially education?
I just want to tell you once again, I feel this is a temporary issue. We will all have to live with it till a vaccine or a medication doesn't come out. Please look at recovery rates. We are only looking at, 5,000 new cases, 6,000 new cases. There are so many lakhs of cases, but look at how many people are recovering. We have more deaths in a year with TB. We have more deaths in a year with heart diseases, with cancer, with common flus like malaria and dengue, but nobody is keeping account of that. So there has been such fear in people. We have to definitely be safe. We have to be responsible citizens, but please don't look at it as this is it for all of us. Life will come back as it was. Please give it time, and we all will come back. Mumbai will bounce back as it has always done through the worst times ever. So please be rest assured.
I really sync with what you're saying. Priya, do you have a question? Astha?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Yes, please.
Hi.
Yeah. As you have worked a lot in education sector, what do you think needs to be changed or modified through government policies for making an effective learning?
Sorry, what did you say about government policies?
I said that as you have worked a lot in education sector, so what do you think needs to be changed or modified through government policies for effective learning? Like, what is the role of government policies in making effective learning can become a real dream?
So,
like the reality.
So, I'll be a very good question, and I truly feel that a holistic kind of learning is very important. When our kids go to school, especially in the public sector, it's not much of a learning that happens, and you'll see a lot of school dropouts, especially young girls and young boys due to their problems in their homes, etc. We need to give them life skills. We need to prepare them for what is out there so that they can eventually get jobs and become productive people in the future. Not everybody can become a graduate. Not everybody will go into IITs. Not everybody will become an MBA. When we talk about kids who go to school, they need to be able to get a job. Most of the kids don't even pass out their 10th standard, let alone their 12th standard. But technical education should become part of our curriculum. Life skills should become part of our curriculum. So that kids who are also in the 10th standard, who pass out their 10th, can choose various fields in for the 11th and 12th. So the government has set up a lot of technical education centers. No doubt about it, but not enough. But like I told you, that must become part of a curriculum. Even say for instance, when you go into private schools or these international schools, which are the elite schools of today, they have a lot of practical training of various things, various skills. So that creates a holistic approach to education. We need to give that to every child in our country to equip them for the future. So when you educate a child, you have to see what the ground realities are before you develop a curriculum for education in that country.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
One last question. We have only 5 minutes remaining. Time for one last question. If there is no one, I've got a request from Rahul and Riddhima. Rahul, would you like to come forward?
I'd like to add to that.
Yes, is that Maxwell?
Yeah. I'd just like to add to that what Priya just said.
Yeah.
So right, like how the kids like grow up. Now, while they're growing up, you can see their inborn instincts. Some people are good in sports and all that.
Sure.
So when we like push in languages like Marathi, Hindi, and all that, some people are dyslexic. Like even I never liked Marathi and all. Though born and brought up in Bombay, it's not that I didn't like, but I didn't have. Yeah. So my elder brother can speak naturally 16 languages. My other brother can speak Marathi and all that. I can't, though I'm born and brought up here. So I think we need to have someone who can actually check their instincts. Some people are good in sports, some kids are good in whatever, writing, acting, whatever. So we should be able to diversify and try to train them in that, because I've seen even in Chhattisgarh there were kids who were good in computers and all that, but not good in studies at all, and they do a very good job actually. 7th, 8th standard kids, I've seen them while even good with the internet and mobile. So I think we should be able to assort, and we should be able to help them train according to what is their inborn instincts, because that becomes too late by the time they graduate and all that. I know an engineer, Anish Bengali he's a chemical engineer. For last 20 years they've been selling softwares in Bombay. So is there no connection? Graduation is just by the time you reach there, you lose a lot of energy and all that, which is not required. We have to change the education system here and train them. Okay, people who want to graduate and all that, that's fine. But people who don't want to, we have to just assort them according to the instinct naturally on a national level. That'll be great. And even I'd interacted with some CEO and HR people out here, because CEOs normally look out for a particular format of education and experience and all that. And I've talked to a lot of CEOs. 99% of them, except for the graduation part and all that, other parts they've lied because they had to fit into that particular format. So that actually makes no sense, to customize. So when the CAs have a particular guys who are good in certain skills and all that, they pay them extra and all that. And according to their instinct, the HR guys have to train another 15, 20 guys according to what kind of these skills the CEOs are looking for an appointment. It's not about education and graduate. Even if I have software companies which we are working on, or which we
input, Maxwell. I really appreciate it, but we are running short of time. I guess Rahul.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have to train according to that. That's it, Priya. Thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Hi, ma'am. This is Ridhima.
Yeah.
Rahul Gandhi's sister. We have a question for you. So, as brother and I are sort of, interested in politics. I mean, him more than I am.
Okay.
Do you think social media, the digital platform, is a good arena to sort of like make people aware of what is happening around and all of that? Because I see a lot of hate on social media these days. So, like, just wanted to know, like, if the digital platform is a good arena for for the upcoming people or for the politicians to start off or to continue.
So I feel, especially for people, upcoming politicians, I don't think the digital arena is something which you should depend on. You have to be hands-on. You have to be hands-on. You have to be out there. You have to understand what the ground level realities are. Being on a digital platform alone and communicating with people is not really going to give you the real sense of anything. That's fine for a later stage where you want to communicate in a larger scale and solve issues and problems. But I don't know if you all may have realized, I'm not a digital freak actually. I'm hardly on Twitter and I'm hardly on Instagram and stuff like that. I do post, but very rarely. If something I really want to talk about, or but I'm not that kind of a regular,
but
regularly on the digital platform.
As you see, Generation Z, they only understand, like social media, Instagram, Facebook. Even if you see like TikTok these days, there are so many politicians and actors, actresses, like trying to put across something through TikTok. So like,
I tell you, I was really talking to somebody and I said, I guess you can fight your next election through digital media. You won't even have to go out and meet people anymore. But I don't believe that that can ever happen. I feel it's so important to understand what issues are, what your connection with people are. If you're ever wanting to fight an election, people have to relate with you directly. People have to, you have to understand with and relate with them directly. Uh, I I think digital media takes away that connect, takes away that social connect. It's great. It's a superb communication tool when you want to give out a message. Correct?
Right, for sure.
But that comes into a later stage.
Right. I completely agree with you. In fact, my take is also the same, but just looking at the way things are going currently, everyone just like going berserk. I feel like it's just probably a wave that is coming in and it's probably going to disappear eventually.
I think so. I think so too. I think it's reached that crescendo, where everything is really going berserk because everybody is sitting at home and there is no other way of communication. And so everybody is on the digital platform right now.
Hopefully by the time the lockdown ends, we should all probably you just stay on ground and get off TikTok.
Exactly. I think everybody has to detox from this also.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any final message to all our listeners over here?
Thank you so much. It was a very interesting 1 hour, and I think a lot of issues we spoke about. And a lot of things which I think the youngsters can do. And I just want to say, don't lose hope, don't lose faith. This is a difficult time for all of us, but this too shall pass and everything. This will be like a bad dream. But you need to go through it knowing there are better times to come. So stay strong and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you for everyone for joining us.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Maybe have one last thing. Maybe request everyone to switch on their cameras and come forth and have a group picture because we don't get to meet each other. Okay, is everyone's camera on? So I'll say a cheese and take a picture then.
Yeah.
Shruti, we can't see you. Okay, say cheese.
Cheese.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This picture with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.